Good evening. Tonight we're going to go into how to make a post endpoint, which is the next logical step in this process, as we have now created a GET endpoint. And post endpoints are really different from GET endpoints in a couple minor ways. One, they have the ability to mutate what's going on in the database or server, that is to change the value of something, but also they pass their data through what's known as the request body instead of as a request parameter. So instead of passing a post calls payload through the header on an HTML bar, you actually pass it through in a payload usually consisting of JSON or XML. For our purposes, we're going to use JSON. To make things simple, we're going to start out by creating a POJO, which is just a basic Java Bean class, by going New, Package, Models, and then creating a new Java class inside called PostObject. PostObject is going to have two strings in it, just like we currently have for our regular JSON object, a key string and a value string. Hitting Alt-Insert will allow us to create a getter and setter on Windows. On Mac, it would be Command-N, would allow you to do the same command here. We don't really need the setters, but we're going to put them in just in good practice. And then we're also going to make these private to encapsulate the class correctly. Once again, not a really big deal for our simple example, but always good programming practice. So if we go back to the main controller, then I have copy and pasted a post endpoint for us, which we're going to go over here. I called it test post. The method has a request method type of post. Get and post in the request methods under the request mapping tell Swagger that we are actually not wanting to have these be generic types, but that we know exactly at runtime what they are. If you recall before in Swagger, it gave us the get, post, put, delete, and update endpoint options for the index value. We don't want that. We would like for this endpoint to share the value simply that it is a post endpoint. So we see the handy tooltip here that we can insert our object. If we hit Alt-Insert or Alt-Enter, we can import the class, and it will import all of our post object data. And if we hit play, we will relaunch the Swagger server and then be able to see our new update, which is a post call. So once this loads, we'll take a look. So here we are now. If we refresh this page, then we can see we have a post call in addition to a get call that says test post. Here we see the parameter, a value required. It's a body type parameter in correlation to the query type parameters we had earlier. We also see that instead of seeing string, we see the model and model schema. The model schema shows us the key and value are both strings, and then model shows us that the object class, the POJO that we created. If we click back on model schema, we can see click to set as parameter value. So if we click this box, it pre-fills for us. I'm going to update this to say hello post. Staying with our convention of the hello world thus far. And if we hit try it out, then we see that we got hello post with a response of 200. We have the curl call available to us, as well as the request URL telling us the request URL. So that's going to be it for this video, but in the next video I'm going to show you how to make tests, unit tests using Spring with Mock MVC framework, and that will be for testing out your endpoints to make sure they return the way they should, which is always good programming practice to do some sort of testing. I'm a big advocate of test-driven and behavior-driven development myself, and I think that'll be very beneficial. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.